2-6, the Cartesian Coordinate System, also known as graphing on a plane or putting points on a graph, which you've probably done in the past. In the past, if you look at where point A is, all of these numbers on the x-axis and the y-axis over where point A is, those numbers are positive. In this chapter, we introduced negative numbers. So we actually ended up with 3 extra areas on our graph. We have where point A is, point B, and then the bottom half where there's nothing right now, but we'll give you some labels for that in a minute. So to quickly review, we have points A and B, and point A is given by some coordinates. We are going to come over to this point where A is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A is over 6 units, and then it is up 3 units. That is the location of point A. Those are its coordinates. 6, 3. Over 6 units, and then up 3. So when you go to graph, over is along the x-axis, and up and down is along the y-axis. So you have a whole bunch of points to play with today. Okay, just to move along quickly, point B is located where? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units in the negative direction, but it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units up. So the coordinates of point B are at -6 and 5. Now that we have this graph that has a whole bunch of more places to put points, it's broken up into 4 quadrants. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Depending on where things are located. If you look at the x-axis and the y-axis, it divides the graph into 4 equal spaces. This space where point A is in quadrant 1. B is located in quadrant 2. C is located in quadrant 3. And point D is located in quadrant 4. However, there are some things that we're going to need to do to accomplish some math we're going to do much later this year. And I'm going to reference this quite often when we get to it. So we have a graph on the left, and then on the right we have an x and an x plus 5. We are actually going to pick 4 points and put 4 points on the graph. And you know, when it comes right down to it, you're the one who decides where these points are going to start. You are going to pick the x coordinates. It doesn't matter what 4 numbers you pick, but I will give you some advice. The best ones to pick are the ones right around 0, because math around 0 is easier. So I would pick 0, 1, -1, and 2. They're the numbers closest to this point here. Makes our math easier. So you're going to, in your head, substitute in 0 for x in this little math problem. So if I substitute in 0 for this x up here, I have 0 plus 5. And that gives me 5. If I do this problem again a second time, I substitute in 1 for x this time. 1 plus 5 is going to give me 6. If I substitute in -1 for x, I get 4. And if I substitute in 2 for the x, I get 7. Now, these, as you can see down in the bottom right-hand corner, these are going to be the y coordinates. You picked the x coordinates. We did some math, and then we calculated some y coordinates. And we can actually put these 4 points on a graph. So the first one is at 0, 5. So we go over 0 and we go up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we put a dot right there. There's our first point. The second point is at 1, 6. We go over to 1 and up to 6, and we put another dot. The third point is at -1, 4. So we go in the -1 direction and up to 4 and put a dot. And then finally our fourth point, 2, 7, we go over to 2 and up to 7 and put a dot. You should notice something at this point about these 4 dots. They make a line. It's a diagonal line. It might be horizontal, it might be vertical, it might be diagonal, but it makes a line. When you have x values that you've chosen or someone chooses for you, and you do some math, the same math to each one of those x values, you end up with a corresponding y value, and you're going to make a nice straight line. Your homework today is not going to be in a textbook. It's going to be 2 handouts. Handout 12, problems 1 through 45. It may seem like a lot, but 1 through 45, you're putting 45 points on a graph, and you're connecting the dots. And in handout 83, problems 1 through 21, all of them,